One letter was to alter the course of history forever. "Stop poisoning our people with opium," wrote a Chinese official to Queen Victoria. Her response? Gunboats on the Yangtze River. Given was 110 years of humiliation. Today, China produces 31% of anything made on the face of planet Earth. They have raised 800 million people out of poverty. Their military budget rivals America's. But wait for it. This change occurred in a mere 45 years. How did the world's most humiliated country become its fiercest challenge to American power? The Century of Humiliation. The year was 1839. China thought of itself as the Middle Kingdom. Not only in the middle, but also at the center of the world. For more than 2,000 years, Chinese emperors had governed with the mandate of heaven, under the belief that they were meant to rule civilization. Then came the opium. This lethal drug was being peddled on China's streets by British merchants, who turned a vast number of the Chinese populace into addicts and emptied the country of its silver. The British response to Chinese efforts to stamp it out was savage, and they went to war over their ability to sell poison. But here is the thing that really blows your mind. China lost. The great empire that had given the world gunpowder, paper, and the compass was brought down by a small island nation thousands of miles from its shores. China was made to pay immense war reparations and was forced to open 5 ports for the foreign trade of Britain, while Hong Kong was ceded to British control under the Treaty of Nanking in 1842. This was just the beginning. China went on to experience one demoralizing loss after another over the next century. The Second Opium War saw Anglo-French alliance armies approach Beijing, where they burned the Old Summer Palace, one of China's greatest splendors. Foreign powers sliced up Chinese land as if it were cake, creating more than 70 treaty ports where even China's laws held no sway. It was the Japanese invasion that finally did it in. From 1937 to 1945, Japan occupied large parts of China and carried out atrocities that continue to traumatize the nation. By 1949, China's GDP per capita was a mere $50, on par with some of the poorest countries in the world. The proud Middle Kingdom was now the sick man of Asia. And then, on October 1st, 1949, a voice rang out in Tiananmen Square. The Chinese people have stood up. The chairman Mao Zedong had just declared the establishment of the People's Republic of China. The century of national humiliation was gone. The time of revenge was nigh. The great turnaround. China remained poor and insular for its first 30 years after 1949. Mao's policies also resulted in economic calamities like the Great Leap Forward, which led to widespread famine. But in 1978, everything changed. And then there was a man named Deng Xiaoping, who came into power and said 4 words that changed the world: reform and opening up. The brilliance of Deng's strategy was in its straightforwardness. Rather than to directly confront the West, according to this analysis, China would utilize its greatest resource, its people. China, with 1.4 billion citizens, had the world's largest workforce. Foreign companies were welcome to set up factories in China. They got cheap labor. China received technology, investment, and most crucially, know-how. The immediate results were spectacular. Back in 1980, the Chinese economy was a mere $191 billion. By 2000, it had grown to $1.2 trillion. But that was just the beginning of what followed. China gained entry to global markets when it joined the World Trade Organization in 2001. What came next was the fastest economic transformation in human history. Between 1978 and 2018, China's economy expanded at an average rate of about 9.5% each year. The World Bank described that rise as the fastest sustained expansion by a major economy in history. Think about this. It took Britain 150 years to double its economy during the Industrial Revolution. China was, by that point, doubling its economy every 8 years. By 2010, China had surpassed Japan to become the world's second largest economy. But they weren't done yet. The manufacturing superpower. Nowadays, China is not just making stuff, but the stuff people use. The world produces 31% of all we make in China. That is more than the next 9 biggest manufacturing countries combined. To put this in context, 1 out of every 3 smartphones you purchase, cars, and we'll never know which is the third. Even that cheap plastic toy your kid might play with, there's a 1 in 3 chance it was made in China. But truly, utterly mind-blowing is this. China manufactures the equivalent of more than $5 trillion a year. That's more than the entire economy of Japan, the world's number 3 economy. They're the world's factory now, but they didn't settle there. China didn't want to be just the world's assembly line anymore. They had to climb the value chain. Enter the plan known as Made in China 2025. But this is, more than ever, not simply the story of making cheap goods. China is in a race to dominate high-tech industries like artificial intelligence, 5th-generation communication technology, electric cars, and renewable energy. And it's working. China manufactures 80% of the world's solar panels today. They produce more electric cars than the rest of the world combined. Chinese firms such as Huawei and TikTok are now household names worldwide. Most importantly of all, however, arguably, China is the world's biggest trading nation. Their combined imports and exports in 2024 were $6 trillion. That is higher than the gross domestic product of most countries. The Belt and Road, Xi Jinping's signature project, linked China to 151 countries in Asia, Africa, and Europe through a large investment in infrastructure. We are referring to a total of $1 trillion in projects, railways connecting continents, and ports across Africa, all linked by digital networks extending across the planet. This is no longer about economics. This is about shaping the world order itself, the military awakening. But sheer economic power isn't enough to be a superpower. You gotta have military muscle behind it. This lesson out of their Century of Humiliation, China did not forget. What all that losing, all those unequal treaties and foreign campaigns ultimately had in common was military weakness. Never again. China's official defense budget has now reached $246 billion, and together with the hidden expenses for intelligence, nuclear weapons, and the space program, its military budget exactly meets or surpasses that of America. But here's the dirty little secret the Chinese government doesn't want you to know. Experts calculate that their actual military spending could be as high as $471 billion when you factor in under-the-table expenses. To put that in perspective, it is more than the next 10 countries spend on defense combined, not including the United States. The People's Liberation Army has been unrecognizably altered. They developed the world's biggest navy by the number of ships. Their air force equals America's in the Pacific. Worst of all, as they're growing their nuclear arsenal very fast. China had some 200 nuclear warheads in 2010. Today, intelligence estimates put the number at over 500, with plans to bring it to 1,000 by 2030. That would make China a nuclear superpower on the same order as Russia. But numbers are not the only consideration. China has built carrier-killer missiles that can reach American aircraft carriers thousands of miles off its coast. They have militarized man-made islands in the South China Sea, transforming unsinkable aircraft carriers in one of the world's most vital waterways. The meaning is clear enough. China shall never again be insulted by foreign oppressors. The New World Order. Today, China is at a juncture that will shape the 21st century. They have already done what only a few decades ago seemed delusional. From producing just 31% of global output to raising 800 million from poverty, the biggest reduction in human misery ever. But China's ambitions extend well beyond economic and military power. They are questioning the very validity of the world order established after World War II. China's goals are well known to President Xi Jinping. At the 2017 Party Congress, he insisted that China must stand center stage in the world. This is not mere rhetoric, it's a statement of intent. China is also rolling out an alternative to Western institutions, via the likes of Belt and Road. As the United States erects military alliances, China is erecting economic ones. As America cracks down, China invests. The numbers tell the story. Now, over 120 countries have China as their biggest trading partner, not the United States. Like Langley's law that to use American cotton is treachery, the principle behind America's trade policies today seems to be use American products and lose business. It seems as if China's promised far-off prosperity turns Europe's brains. For when countries have to choose between American pressure, popularly applied on one side by Mr. Taft, and Chinese prosperity practically exercised on the other, with all continents treated on an equal basis of politeness, if in a different way, it looks very much as though many parts of this earth, if not this United States, were choosing pecuniary good things for themselves through China. But what is making this moment in history dangerous and fascinating? For the first time since World War II, a non-Western power has developed the economic, military, and technological capacity to contest American primacy. The transformation is complete. In only 45 years, China has gone from the most humiliated country on earth to its most frightening challenge. From the nation that endured the Opium Wars, a world of goods. That country that was dismembered by foreign powers now dominates global trade routes. Now, the nation that suffered a century of humiliation is poised to resume its historic claim as the Middle Kingdom. But this story isn't over. It's just beginning. The ascent of China is surely the single most consequential geopolitical shift of our era. How this turns out will decide whether the 21st century is one of the East or of the West. One thing is for sure, we will never have the world as it was. What do you think? Is China going to supplant America as the world's leading superpower? Tell me in the comments, and please subscribe for more videos exploring the forces that shape our world.